Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Charlotte County Code Enforcement Special Magistrate hearing, and I'm Glenn Siegel, the Special Magistrate, and I'll be deciding the cases today. So if everybody would take their seats at this time, if you have any electronic matters on you, such as cellular phones, if you'd please turn those off at this, because everything in this room is being recorded and the microphones are on at all times. So what goes on here gets shown on television, or at least streamed on Facebook or one of the social media pages. I would appreciate it if everybody would rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance at this time. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. If you'd please be seated. This is a quasi-judicial hearing subject to the Florida Sunshine Act, and I am required to disclose whether or not I've had any contact of any kind with any person having an interest in this matter, and I'm required to disqualify myself if there is a conflict of interest. I've reviewed the docket, and I've not had any contact nor any conflict. The next agenda item is very important. If you expect to give any testimony in any of the matters that are coming up on the agenda today, if you would stand up at this time, and the clerk will issue you the oath.
Could you please stand up if you're going to give testimony? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? If so, answer, I do. I do. Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda item number 4, the next meeting date will be October 4th, 2017. We have agenda changes. I think we've gone through. We're current on those, are we not? All right. Article 7 on the agenda, unfinished business. And agenda item 8, old business. Both of those we have nothing to go forward with, which will take us to agenda item 9, the consent affidavits. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when we call your case, if you would approach the podium, and the way the procedures will work is that when you approach the podium, just announce your name, because, as I said, everything's being recorded. We need to have that for the record. The county code enforcement officers will testify first. And I realize that you're not going to necessarily agree with everything that they say, so if you just maintain decorum, and we'll give you a full opportunity to present whatever defenses and hear your side of the matter at that time, okay? All right, so.
Hey, Glenn, before we really get started, 28's here, 29's here, and 52.
52. So which one do we start with?
We'll start with the very beginning, new business. When it comes to new business, we'll go with the DOH.
Okay, so we're going to start with 20. Do we have those affidavits?
Right here, these two. I'm going to pull the other two.
Okay. All right, thank you.
This is the first one.
Okay, ready. You want to wait till you get back?
If you want. I'm
Okay.
going to get these ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, it'll just be a brief delay here while we get some additional files. And then I just wanted to wish everybody luck and stay safe for the upcoming storm. Thank you. At this time, we're going to go to Article 9, case number 20, COD 16-1122, Richard and Hazel May. If you're here, please approach the podium.
That's odd. I was making sure your mic was on. Her mic was on.
Just get this.
Gladys Reynolds, the property is in the name of my parents, Richard and Hazel May.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear your last name. Was
Sorry, Gladys Reynolds.
okay, and you are related
Daughter.
to daughter. Okay,
There's only two of us surviving, my sister and myself.
I see.
I live in the house.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll follow that procedure that I described earlier, so just bear with us, okay? The county's ready to proceed as first witness.
Officer John Drown, Charlotte County Code Compliance. This AMC I followed through again for a follow-up on July 14th. Here are the photos taken at that time showing the conditions still exist and the notice of violation. And the this is their second notice of noncompliance.
Okay, thank you. You want to show the photographs? I got it right here. Officer, these photographs, they fairly and accurately depict what the conditions of the property on November 5th, I'm sorry, on July 14th.
Yes, Your Honor, they do.
All right, ma'am, do you have any objection to these being admitted in
No,
evidence?
sir.
Okay, they'll be so admitted and marked as Charlotte County Composite Exhibit 1. Ma'am, the county has brought you here for at least and theoretically the owner for the second time, and for violation of my previous order. And, you know, whenever you have a violation of an order, that's a very, very serious thing. And I can see that, you know, the fine's already up to $4,520. So could you tell me what's going on?
Okay. Like I explained to you at the last time, my father bought this property in 1967. It was residential professional at that point in time because he's a commercial fisher, or he was a commercial fisherman. That's the reason for the boats and the nets and the different things. Now, over the last year and a half, have had my niece and great-nephew living with me because she had nowhere else to go. Those pictures depict swing sets in the yard. I'm a swing set in the yard. There's also a swimming pool there. There's also, I mean, these are kid toys. These are things he's going to play with. Now, as far as what's in front of the buildings, that's no longer there. He went in July. This has been recently done. But can I bring you to date of what I have done instead of you saying what I haven't done?
Oh, certainly.
Okay. Initially, I had to come up with $1,200 for the electric box repair. That's the only thing they found inside the home that needed to be fixed, and I took care of that. The electrician took his time doing it, which is what delayed some of it, and actually was almost blackballed from FPL because he didn't finish the work in a timely manner. We got that taken care of. I have had 3 dumpsters, 3, removed from the property, All-Star Disposal. Now, they charge me $185 each time to rent the dumpster for a month. Then they charge me $50 per ton to dump it. I've done that 3 times. I have one of your officers, a lady named Ronnie, suggested to me that I could scrap some of the stuff. This is a accumulation of my father keeping stuff forever, and now I have to dispose of it, okay? The person that went out, she suggested I have someone come in. They took a trailer load out to scrap it. There's no money in scrap, so that avenue is gone. I had 2 separate trailer loads hauled out of there that I paid for. The people did it out of the goodness of their heart. I paid the dump fee, okay? Now, I worked out a deal with another person who went in. He hauled out another load. He went into these storage units that you see here. He took out tools. He took out, that was his payment for removing other stuff, which was his trailer that he hauled off, and then he never came back. He was also supposed to take the big boat that is up on a trailer sitting on the corner of the property. It's been there forever. It is on a trailer, but he didn't remove it. Now, I have also, that's not noted here, had 4 boats removed from the property. One of them was an old crab boat that was hauled out whole intact. The other 3 had been sitting under an oak tree. So, of course, there was a 30-foot trawler, which had to be beat apart, and all of this thrown in the dumpster and hauled away. There was a shrimp boat back there. These are things I personally didn't know were back there on the ground. I'm finding out as I'm going also. That was hauled out of there. There was a houseboat back there that was hauled out. Now, as you come down the driveway right now, there is a winch. There is 2 large gas tanks. There is things that came off of the shrimp boat that, again, I have worked another deal out with somebody. They take the other boat that you guys want out of there. He can have the boat, and he wanted the winch and all of this. He's to haul that out of there. He just hasn't done it yet. It is in the works. I have worked it out with him to do it. It just hasn't been done yet. Now, the other issue is I have to live. I draw $760 a month social. That's all I draw. And then I can do some basically part-time work that I'm doing at roughly about $200 a month. Now, I have a great nephew that I'm pretty much supporting because she's not working. She can't seem to get a job or hold a job. I had issues with DCF when she initially came to live with me. They were there for a whole entire year. And, I mean, they were okay with this child being there and living there with me. But, again, it's an expense on me. Also, car broke down. Now I have a car payment because I have to have transportation. You know, you have to have transportation. I am not going as fast as you would like me to go. I understand that. But my hands are tied in a lot of different ways. So I don't know what else I can do, you know, to basically to satisfy you. I don't know.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that you're having such a difficult time, and you're certainly a compelling case on difficult circumstances. But what I'm dealing with here is kind of like a traffic ticket. If you run a stop sign, maybe you're not running a stop sign at the moment, but it's for this past violation. That's what I'm being asked to consider, and from what you're telling me, you're making a good faith effort on it. I'm trying,
and I explained all of this from the start. It all involves, you got to pay people to do this stuff.
Sure.
And I don't have it to just give them. I have to wait until I get it up to be able to pay the people. Mm-hmm. I don't know what else I can do. I mean, I really don't.
When you were here last time and I entered my order, didn't I ask you if you had needed additional time from what the county was recommending?
Yes, you did. And I explained to you that based on the amount of stuff that's there at the property, again, it's accumulation from the 60s on. And this stuff, I can't do it in 2 months. I couldn't do it in 6 months. I told you, even in a year, I'm not sure I could get everything out of there. Mm-hmm. But I'm trying. Mm-hmm. Now, there's another issue that I'm looking at also, is because in the 15 years that I was there and taking care of my parents, I paid off their mortgage, and I was basically their caregiver for all those years. I also took in my great niece. I had her for 7 years because the other niece got in trouble and went to prison for 5 years. And then my brother, who had diabetes, severe, I have nursed all of them through that house. Mm-hmm. Now, there are what I call deferred repairs needed around the house. I know there is. Mm-hmm. But I did not have the extra money to do it at the time. And again, it's going to be a slow process, but I'm working on it. That's all I can promise you. I'm working on it. I don't know what else to do.
I understand. One of the difficult things about doing what I'm doing up here is sometimes I have to follow the law, and I don't really have a whole heck of a lot of discretion with things, and you stand here today in violation of that previous order, and I understand why, don't get me wrong, and I certainly don't want to kick you while you're down. That's not
You
my
might as well
intent,
join the crowd. Seriously.
I understand, but by your own statement, we still have a lot of those conditions that are depicted in these
Well,
photographs.
that photograph right there, those things are not in front of that building right now.
I
In order
understand.
to clear
I
the
was
buildings
listening.
out, you've got to take the stuff out to haul it away and whatnot. But
And I
again,
was
at the
listening
time
to-
he was there, that was what it looked like, yes.
Okay. Well, I realize that you have this stuff cleared up. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to affirm the violation. Again, I'm not doing that to kick you down, but I previously entered an order, gave you the additional time, and I know that you made a good faith effort, but under those circumstances, that kind of doesn't give me a whole lot of room here on this. And I hope that you'll continue with cleaning this up, especially in light of the storm, because some of that stuff could...
Well, it has been, and it is, and now I'm boarding windows up that I was told to unboard. So, I'm back at catch-22, because I, am preparing for the storm, obviously. So these windows that were written in that needed to be or I've had the window repaired, but now I've got to board it back up. I have to. With the trees that I have around there, I'm going to have tree limbs, Am I going to be cited for that again now if I board my windows up?
Well, I can't predict the future more than anybody else, but
Yeah.
I don't believe I've got a lot of choice on, and I'll have to affirm the affidavit. But again, I hope you don't look at that as, something that should stand in your way of getting this cleaned up. I do recognize that you're having some other issues with this.
Definitely. And this is what I don't understand is because I am trying, and it's like everything is coming back at me. Nothing I seem to do is making a difference anymore. I don't understand.
Well, believe me, I'm not affirming this affidavit just, to be mean or anything. It's really stressing over it, but I don't, because of that prior violation, my hands are kind of tied. So I hope that you'll continue.
All right, explain to me this. Now, is this a lien going against the property? What? Because if you're expecting me to pay $4,000, I don't have it.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, you see this gentleman over here? He's going to talk to you about it. He's going to give you some options and
Okay.
some assistance. That's about the best we can do. And if you work with them, then, maybe you can explain the homestead issue, if this is homestead. And so if you don't mind taking a few minutes, I'm sure we get it worked out for you.
Thank you.
Okay? Thank you.
Okay, Glenn, 17 is here. We'll do that next. 17,
We have the file on over.
right here. And then B, the owner is here. And 17 is next, right there. I'll
Got
just
it.
swear them in.
All right, I understand we have somebody that came in.
Your Honor, we request that you affirm the affidavit of non-compliance.
I'm sorry?
We request that you affirm you affirmed it?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Agenda item 17 under Article 9, COD 17337. Jesse Vanderverder, if you're here on that matter, please approach the podium.
Were you sworn in?
I don't believe so.
Okay, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? If so, answer I do.
I do.
Thank you.
Your names, please.
My name is Deborah Hall.
And I'm Jeff Palakis.
Okay, and how are you connected to the problem?
My mother is Jessie Vandervenner.
Oh, okay, I got it. Okay.
She's blind and she can't hear right now.
She's 94 years old and she can't make it.
Okay, thank you. We'll follow the same procedure where the officer, the code enforcement officer, will go first, and then we'll listen to what your side of the story. Okay, the county's ready to proceed.
Officer Roadhurst.
Good morning, Gary Roadhorse, Charlotte County Code Compliance. I conducted an inspection on June 26th of 2017, finding that the property was still in violation of the order that you issued on June 6, 2017. They still had outside storage of multiple items, including wood, lawnmower parts, various metals. This comes on a first ANC in the amount of $70.
Thank you.
I'm trying to enter those or not.
Bear with me 1 second, please. You understand that the county is asking me to impose a $70 fine for violation of my previous order? Okay, so tell me what's going on.
Well, apparently somebody in the neighborhood called to make a problem with us, and they did. And now, this is what the outcome of it is. But the property has been cleaned up, okay? Because we don't want to live in no messed up place. You know, if you can't have nothing outside your house at all, you know.
I don't think in the next week you'd want something outside your house.
Yeah, that's another thing. That's another burden I have to deal with. You know, and Deb, you know, she can't do too much because of her medical problem, and I can't do too much either because of my medical problem. But I can only do so much, okay? And it's just me and her. And, you know, her mother ain't going to come over and help because she's blind, 94 years old. So it's just the three of us. So, you know, I have cleaned up tremendously. And there's a lot of work upkeep around that house, you know, just cutting the grass alone. It's a big yard. And I tried calling him and to tell him to come over and inspect it and say, hey, look, you know, what do you see wrong here? You know, I have 2 riding mowers outside that I'm going to give to my nephew, but I haven't got around to doing it, you know, and they're just, you know, they're tucked away in the back, and there ain't no junk laying around. You know, I don't, you know, we got rid of a lot of stuff. It's all cleaned up.
Did you clean all this up after June 26th of 2017?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've been cleaning it up.
Yeah. Any response?
Your Honor, they have made substantial progress on the property. However, when I went out on June 26th, there was still a lot more to go. And unfortunately, when he called, he did call me yesterday afternoon, and unfortunately, the day before the hearing, when you're trying to make sure all the cases are ready, is problematic to be able to return the call.
Okay.
That's June 26th, you know. I got the whole month of, you know, July and August. And, you know, I've been cleaning up like crazy. You know, the property is cleaned up.
I understand. What we're looking at is a snapshot in time. You're charged with the property being out of compliance as of June 26th, but I don't think for today that's going to make a difference. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and dismiss the charges against you, but I want you to understand that if you have to come back in front of me, I'm not likely to be as lenient. Or I'm saying you. I know you're not the violator, but
Yeah, you know, we don't
with the owner.
live with all, you know, junk around the house. You know, it comes and goes. You know, but you know, it gets cleaned up.
I understand. I appreciate the effort that you did, and but just keep in mind though that when an order is entered, that it's something you need to comply with. Okay. So the charge will stand dismissed. Thank you, officer.
Thank you.
Our next case.
I've got 28. All right, agenda Article 9, Case 28, COD 162049, Paula Heisel and Mary Holmberg. If you're here, please approach. Your name, ma'am?
Paula Holmberg.
Okay. We'll follow the same procedures as we just did, okay? So if you bear with us. If the county's ready to proceed, its first witness, please.
Go ahead.
My name is Paul Davis, Charlotte County Code Compliance. This is reference to COD 162049, Paula J. Heisel and Mary S. Holmberg. This first came before you on June 6th of 2017 at 137 South Waterway Drive, Port Charlotte, and they were found in violations of 1054 conditions of a permit and 1103 required inspections. I conducted 2 or 3 different times up until yesterday looking to see if they reopened and got new permits or closed the ones they had, and they have not.
They had not?
They have not, and they are still in violation.
Somebody closed that door and I couldn't hear that last word. Okay, thank you.
And we are asking for a $70 fine.
Thank you. Ma'am, you want to tell me what's going on?
We had the roof inspected. That did pass. I don't know if he got that one. When we reopened, we just found out a while back that the final inspection hadn't gone through with the electrical and the plumbing. And we went and got the permits, and they did come and redo the roof, and that one passed. We honestly thought that we had a year from the time that we got the permit. Unfortunately, we did not have a year, we found out at that time. My mom passed, and then we adopted a child, so time just kind of got away from me and didn't realize that it had expired. I did go to try to renew that permit, and they said that because it was the second time that we had purchased that permit, that they could not renew it, that we had to come in front of you.
Any response?
I can't speak for the building department as far as that's concerned. You mean as far as the permit itself and not being allowed to renew it?
Particularly was related to the permit.
I don't know what they were implying by that. Usually people are allowed to go ahead and redo it unless it's been again and again and again. But I wouldn't think the second time that was an issue, but we can talk to them about that.
He gave me a gentleman's name to call, a Rob or a Bob, and again, with everything that was going on, I never got a chance to call him to see if he would let me renew the permit, and I never got a chance to call him, and then I got the paper for here.
And when did that occur?
A month and a half ago.
Okay, and have you made any other attempts since in the last 45 days?
No, sir, not to renew the permit, because when I went to do it, they told me that I would not be able to.
Did they tell you you wouldn't be able to, or you needed to speak with Rob or Bob? I mean,
they said that I could either call Rob or Bob to see if they would allow me to renew the permit, because it would be the second time that I was renewing it.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, things kind of got away, and I forgot to do that because of the adoption and all that. So,
Paul can help them walk through that process and get that figured out.
No, that's all right. I don't think we need to go there. Ma'am, the county's asked me to impose a $70 fine. Let me double check, make sure I'm right. What really disturbs me is that I know you were told some things apparently, but you haven't followed up at all within the last 45 days. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, ma'am. I'm going to dismiss the charges, but I'm going to say that I don't have the authority at this point to do that, but you really need to follow up and get this taken care of, because I'm not going to be as benevolent next time, okay?
So I can go on ahead then and renew the permit?
Just you can get together with these
Okay.
folks, but I want you to understand, that because you have told me that, and I'm taking at your word, that you had some information and maybe you misunderstood it, maybe it didn't happen. I'm giving you the benefit of that doubt, but you still have to comply, and
Right.
that's what I'm
I'm
expecting
willing
you to do.
to do that.
Your Honor, just so the respondent's clear, is the dismissal of this action does not guarantee issuing of a permit.
Oh, no,
Right?
that's
I just want to make sure we're clear about that, Your Honor.
That's what I'm trying to clarify, that you'll have to do this, because if you don't do what I'm asking you to do, they're going to bring you back in front of me, and you can probably guess what the outcome will be unless you've got a really good excuse or strong evidence to the contrary, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
So get
That'll
with
be my
the
ruling.
gentleman over there.
You can check with him, with the officer, okay, unless he's got another case.
I do.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. All right, let's go to agenda item 29, COD 162872, Thomas Hamilton. Sherry Hamilton, if you're here, please approach.
Good morning.
Well, your name, sir?
Thomas Hamilton.
Thank you, sir. We'll follow the same procedure that we've been doing this morning. County ready to proceed?
Paul Davis, Charlotte County Code Compliance. This is in reference to COD 1602872. The address is 127 Rogers Avenue. They came before you on February 1st, 2017, regarding prohibited use of structures and junk-like conditions prohibited. And I have some photos too, if he wants to see them.
If you wish to offer those, please show them. Sir, have you had a chance to review those photographs?
Sir, yes, sir.
And do you have any objection to me entering those into evidence?
No, sir.
Okay, those would be marked as County Composite Exhibit 1, if you'd proceed.
Okay, I've on several occasions I've tried to make contact with the homeowner and done several inspections, mainly because I get neighbors calling all the time about all the debris and everything in the carport. My last inspection was actually yesterday. I went to see if anything had been taken care of, and it just seems to get larger. There's still continues to have a large amount of wood, washers and dryers, all kinds of debris out in the backyard and under the carport.
I do have a photo of the carport this morning.
Hang on. I'm going to give you a full opportunity to go through everything, okay?
Yes,
I
sir.
just need to look at these photographs, and if you'll hang on just a second.
I was here yesterday. It was all a mess.
Nice to meet you.
If there's nothing else from the county this time?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Hamilton, tell me what's going on.
Yes, I moved into the house, I believe it was September of last year. A week after I had moved into it, I was downsizing from a house that was 2,300 square feet to a house that was 1,100 square feet. I'm normally used to having either a shed or a garage, and I do not have either one of those at this time. I've been trying to downsize and get rid of a lot of stuff. I do also break down pallets and recycle them for other uses. So I have cleaned that up, and I have straightened out that area. My wife is a manic depressive, bipolar, and she also does not work because she has RSD in one of her arms. So I don't have all the help to get from her, but I work on average 6 days a week. 7 o'clock in the morning until 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It's hard for me to get out and get things done. You know, at this time, the rain comes in the afternoon. I did my best last night to make sure I had everything straightened up. I did take pictures of the area so I could present them to you of what the area looks like this morning. I'm going to make the best effort to make sure that everything is down and stable for hurricane conditions. I had roommate with me. The stuff right there in that picture, I had a girl that was moving out of a house that dumped it on my lawn. She has come since and picked that up. So a lot of that stuff, like I said, I've stacked up. I've got neatly placed inside of my back screened area. It's secured down, and the carport does not look like that at this moment. Mm-hmm. I do have pictures on my phone that I took this morning before I came in.
Well, I'll be happy to take a look at any evidence you wish to present, but I'm going to have to ask you to show them to Mr. Davids first, if it's on your cell phone.
Just ask the witness what date these pictures were taken, Your Honor.
Sorry?
We asked the witness what date these pictures were taken, please.
I took these pictures this morning.
Okay. The officer, if you need to approach, go ahead.
Now I do still have the washer and dryer, but I'm trying to fix that, and it's not junk. I have to get a panel for the washer, and the dryer I need to move in. There's a couple few in there. That's the area this morning, as I said. So I'm doing my best. As I said, I do work 6 days a week, and it's kind of hard to work and then get things done on a separate time. So I apologize for taking a lengthy amount of time to get this straightened out, but I'm doing my best to make sure that everything, again, is secured and is not a eyesore. Some of that wood, I will be making doors on those shelving units to secure that product and make sure that nothing is going to fly away.
Okay, I just want the record to reflect that although we don't have hard copies of the photographs offered by the respondent, that I did look at the photographs on your cellular phone. There are approximately 5 of them, as I recall, or thereabouts. The original order that I entered on February 1st, 2017, I recall that at that time I asked you if you had sufficient time to comply with what the county wanted and comply with your obligations under the code. And I heard the officer testify that it got worse, not better. You're standing in front of us today and having violated my prior order, which doesn't sit well, as you might imagine. I'm not saying that that's prejudicing me, but it's what I'm trying to get across to you is that, you know, your case isn't really compelling. The county's asking me to impose a $70 fine on this, and I'm going to affirm that affidavit. I only hope that this thing will be cleaned up and brought into compliance. It looks like you're getting close, and I certainly encourage you to continue in your efforts, and I wish you the best. I mean, if this storm hits, a lot of that stuff's going to become
I understand.
headache for your neighbors.
Like I said, I have gotten, all that wood is now, it's under roof, and it will be secured for the storm.
No, I heard that, and I on that, but good luck with it, okay, sir?
Thank you. And I apologize, I did not know the codes in Charlotte. I just had moved here recently from Ocala, Florida, so it's a little bit different for me.
Not a problem.
I apologize.
Thank you.
Ruth Anderson, 52.
52, yeah, that's what I have. All right, Article 9, Agenda Item 52, COD 17890, Ruth Anderson and Stacy Parker. If you're here, please approach. One second, please. Okay. I just want to make sure something. Okay, that's fine. Your name, ma'am?
Stacy Parker.
Good morning. How are you?
Are you sworn in?
Yes.
Okay, I thought you were, but...
All right, we're going to follow the same procedure, so if you'll bear with us, and if the county's ready to proceed.
Go ahead.
Rhonda Leonard, Certified Code Officer for Charlotte County. This case was brought to you on July 5th of this year. It was for high grass, junk conditions, shed and disrepair, broken windows. We did have to abate the property. I did the inspection on August 7th. The grass was seriously in violation. There was a lot of junk at the carport and all over the yard. This is a one-day fine plus costs of abatement.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you. Be right with you. What's going on, ma'am?
Well, I don't really understand what's going on. I had squatters in the house. My mother had passed, and squatters in the house. I've already been here once and spoken to you about it, and you had given me some resources to call to get some help possibly with evictions and different things, and those were all dead ends. I've called everyone that you gave me, everyone that Rhonda gave me, and they were not willing to help. I had told you last time I was here I was already going to New York for a week, and that was planned way back in March before all this started. And when I got back, on August 1st, I have it on my phone that I called Rhonda a couple times asking her to call me back. I didn't get any response back. Prior to going up north, I had the police over to the house several times, and they had told me that it was not within my right to touch any of their property whatsoever without getting an eviction first. And it was probably not until August 16th, I think, I went over to the house just to check in, because I had previously heard that the female that was living there went to jail on July 28th. I didn't know about the gentleman, if he was there or he wasn't there. I just drove by to see what was going on, and I was shocked at what I saw, because the policeman told me that I was not allowed to touch any of their things, put them on the side of the road, or do anything. I even said, well, if they go to jail, can I? And they told me that I was supposed to at least wait 30 to 45 days for it to be considered like an abandonment of the property. I was shocked when I went there on the 16th and saw that everything was completely gone from the yard and the carport and the shed, and just gone. And I didn't have nobody alerted me, nobody sent me a letter, nobody called me, nobody did anything to tell me that they were going over there to do anything. I wasn't aware. And that's where I stand. I'm just at a loss here. I don't even understand what's going on exactly, because I thought that I had to get permission through the police department to go over there and remove the belongings there. And somebody did it. Apparently it was the county. I don't know who did it, but it's all empty, gone.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Anything further from the county at this time?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Ma'am, I understand that you're having, and had, I recall you in particular, which is usually there's so many people up here in front of me, hard to remember everybody, but you I do remember, and I know you're having problems with with a tenant, or at least had. Unfortunately, you're still in control of the property, and there's a legal process for addressing those types of things. I don't see that that constitutes a legal excuse.
I had contacted
I'm sorry?
I had contacted the mortgage holder on the property, and they had previously given my mother the opportunity to sign a deed in lieu paperwork back, because I moved in with her when she fell and hurt herself really bad, and I just grabbed my clothes out of the house and moved in with her because she couldn't be by herself anymore. Unfortunately, the paperwork came and we didn't get it filled out and sent back before my mother passed. And so then after that, they had told me they would give me the same opportunity. But the house had to be broom swept clean in order for them to, do that for me. So that could never happen, because I had squatters in there that were destroying the place, and I couldn't get into there. Per the police, I couldn't do it, and then I couldn't afford the eviction, so I just never did it. I still, need to do it. I need to now, as long as I have permission to go there, which is absurd as far as I'm concerned, because if you own a house, you should be allowed to go there, but that's beside the point. That's other crazy laws, but anyway, I will do that as soon as possible now.
Well, as I said, I don't hear a legal excuse. I know you've had some issues with that. I tried to give you additional time when you were here the first time. I'm going to affirm this affidavit as stated. I'm not doing that to single you out, but I just am not hearing, evidence that this wasn't in compliance with my prior order.
Well, I had mentioned to you after I was here before that I was not even going to be here for about a week and a half out of that time that you gave me. Rhonda had actually took me outside of the courtroom in the hallway and said to me that very day that if after I come back and I need additional time to call her, on August 1st I called her. I can prove it on my phone, and I didn't ever get a response.
Oh. Well, that's my ruling, ma'am. Thank you. Takes us to Article 9, Agenda Item 57, COD 161229, Richard Percival and Lois Percival. Good morning, sir. Your name, please? All right, if the county's ready to proceed as first witness.
Please proceed.
Officer Rennell Moore, Certified Code of Compliance Officer, Charlotte County. I did my 90-day inspection on around June 5th. I found that the violation still existed, junk-like conditions, and we also had a situation here where beginning of middle of April, end of May, Mr. Percival's property was devastated by fire, and we sent him a letter giving him an opportunity to clean the property up himself. On May 22nd was the date of the letter, and we waited about 2 weeks before we executed the abatement, and we removed the vehicles off the property. After that, the road became too flooded and impassable, so we couldn't complete the abatement. So this is actually a partial abatement from your findings on September 7th, 2017.
Anything further from the county at this time?
Nothing further on. I just would like to note for the record that the affidavit has a typographical error on the date in paragraph 2, and that date should be the date of your original order.
So you're moving to amend the affidavit?
Yes, Your Honor.
And the original date of the order is...
Oh, it should be 16.
Hang on one second.
Officer Moore, what was the original date of the order?
It should be September 7th, 2016.
I'll double check. I've got
Right,
it.
Your Honor.
We apologize for the error, Your Honor.
Yeah, September 7th is the date. All right, the affidavit will stand as amended. Mr. Percival, could you tell me what's going on, please?
Pardon?
Would you tell me what's going on, please?
What's going on?
Yes, sir. What is your response to what the county...
Well, I wouldn't even know where to begin. Yeah, I own property out there. And very often, she'll show up with some kind of crazy ideas, usually runs afoul of any other rules or ordinances that the county has. She told me one time I couldn't build a structure to shelter cattle. And there was two other fellows out there with her, and I said, yeah, I can. And they agreed with me. Well, she didn't like that, so then she says, well, I'll give you 2 weeks to complete it. Well, hate to rush things, but if I only got 2 weeks, I rushed it. Got it finished. She didn't like the way it looked. So she wanted it torn down. All right. Had fire out there, burned everything for miles around. But she doesn't care too much about the fire department because she wants me to go out there and clean it up. So, all right. I stopped off and saw a neighbor that lives on the other side of Well Road. His property wasn't affected by the fire. While we're standing there talking, this fellow drives up and he's looking for a woman on the next road over. Turns out he's the investigator, and I told him that, you know, I'd need to go in there and clean that up, and he said, no, you can't even go on the property. So I waited a few weeks. I didn't hear from him or anything. So I went ahead and I started cleaning it up. Had 3 trailers out there, plus I'd hired a fella. Of course, he went out and got what he wanted and took my money and left, along with my wheelbarrow and some other things. But I had a horse trailer that I could filter through the ashes of what was there, try to salvage something. I also had an 18-foot trailer used for hauling carts, so that was more than enough to haul away. Primarily, what was there was like the roofing, which is metal. There was some refrigerators, other metal items. It was a pretty hot fire. I couldn't believe, with what little was around there, how hot that must have gotten, because it literally bent fence posts, which now are no good, so all of them awake. One day I wasn't out there. She comes by and steals my truck and 3 trailers, along with a horse trailer that had everything of any value in it. Well, I called the sheriff's department. I thought some ordinary thief had come out there and took it, which kind of was a puzzlement to us because the truck had some tools in it, and they took the tools out. And I thought, well, even if they're just scrapping metal here, the tools got weight to them. I couldn't figure out why that was. Well, the neighbor up the road there has a camera, so we figured out who stole the truck and trailers, which now leaves me with no equipment to take it with. Realizing that the rule of law doesn't mean anything here, I've got to do what she tells me to do. I do get in trouble, which so far I haven't gotten in any trouble with doing things that are against the law, as long as I do what she tells me to do. I did get another trailer. Unfortunately, the property's down under 4 foot of water. The property's about a mile off of Oil Well Road, and the water comes right up to Oil Well Road. I don't know what the property's going to look like in a month from now, but I can guarantee you next week there'll be at least a quarter of a mile of oil well road that'll be impassable. Now, if I had the money, I'd invest in a barge, which I could go out here and get it, bring it up about a half mile, transport it to a smaller craft, get it up to Oil Well Road, and from there onto a truck. Since that property is only out of the water about 2 months out of the year, it'll be a while before anybody can even get to the property.
Anything further, sir?
Do you have some questions?
No, I don't. Is anything further from the county?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Right, sir. I understand that there's some accessibility problems which may have slowed you down a bit on this, but the county's expended resources on, at least partially, on getting the conditions corrected, and on that basis I'm going to affirm this affidavit as it is stated, and as amended, I should say. I'm sorry, sir?
That weather hadn't slowed me down a bit. I'd have had everything cleaned off of there if she hadn't stole the equipment I was using to do the job with.
I understand, but that's...
Your Honor, obviously that the witness is overstepping the boundaries of reasonable propriety, making accusations against county staff that are wholly unfounded and unfair.
Yeah, I'm not giving them any evidentiary weight. You know, I realize that this gentleman's frustrated and...
Well, no, I can back my argument up.
But that's not, we're not here about that today, sir.
Is defined as the taking of one's property without the owner's knowledge or permission and with the intent of denying the rightful owner its use.
Sir, I mean, but that's not why we're here today.
Well, I understand.
Nor would I have authority to even consider
what laws she breaks has nothing to do with it. What laws you're forcing me to break in order to clean the property up has nothing to do with it, and I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying that it would have been cleaned up within a week after she came out there, but I can't clean it up if she's out there stealing my equipment every time I turn around.
I understand, sir, but I've ruled on your on this affidavit at this point in time, and that's final. So have a good day, sir. Have we covered all the affidavits of noncompliance? Then the remainder will be accepted as stated, which will bring us to new business. My understanding we'll do the DOH cases first.
Yes, sir.
That will take us to...
Item B.
Is that the only one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That will take us to Article 10, Case B, DOH 15629. Ivana Fung. I've got that correct. I note that no one is present on behalf of the respondent, so if the county is ready to proceed.
Please proceed.
Terry Barnett, Certified Code Compliance Officer for Charlotte County. 3516 Denham Street is Zone RSF 3.5, and the owner of record is Ivan D. Fung. The case was initiated on May 12, 2016, after receiving a complaint from the Department of Health that the owners were in violation of the inspection pump-out ordinance. I took photographs of the property on March 10th, 2017, and on July 25th, 2017, when I posted the property. The photos fairly and accurately represent the conditions I observed. I would like to offer the photographs and evidence as County Composite Exhibit 1.
Those, there being no objection, those photographs will be marked and admitted as requested.
I have had no contact with the owners. The notice of violation was served in accordance with Florida Statute 162, September 5th, 2017. The Department of Health verified via email that the address is still not in compliance. This concludes my testimony. Now I'd like to introduce Leslie Beauchamp from the Department of Health.
Okay, please proceed. See the order. Oh, well. Ms. Bokamp, please.
Good morning. Leslie Beauchamp, Florida Department of Health in Charlotte County. I am the custodian of GOH records in regard to this database. I reviewed the records for 3516 Denham Street yesterday afternoon and found that no permits pertaining to the inspection and pump out ordinance have been issued within the last 5 years.
Thank you. Anything further from the county? If not, its recommendation, please.
Nothing further, Your Honor. County's recommendation is that the respondent be found in violation of the cited code sections, that they be granted 30 days from the date of your order to have the septic tank pumped and inspected in accordance with Charlotte County Code, or thereafter face a fine of $50 per day for each day a violation exists.
Thank you. All right, Charlotte County versus Fung, case DOH 15629, pertaining to the parcel located at 3516 Denham Street, Port Charlotte, Florida. I find that the undisputed evidence establishes the existence of the charges set forth in the notice of violation and accept the county recommendation as my order. J. Okay, agenda 10, item J, COD 172159, Gulf Coast Home Sites. Trustee, if you're here on that matter, please approach. Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Your name, please?
I'm Miss Harnum.
And how are you related to Gulf Coast Home Sites, Inc.?
I'm a renter.
The renter? Okay. Thank you, sir. The county, please proceed with this first witness. And, sir, if you'll just bear with us, we'll hear from you shortly, okay?
Please proceed.
Rhonda Leonard, Certified Code Compliance Officer for Charlotte County. The address of the violation is 3381 Croton Terrace, zoning districts RSF 3.5. The owner of record is Gulf Coast Home Sites, Inc., as trustee of the 3381 Croton Terrace Trust, UTD 112202. On July 25th, 2017, I conducted an inspection at the address and noted the following violation of outside storage of miscellaneous items, including but not limited to small engines, small engine parts, pool motors, fan casings, metal, TVs, computer towers, multiple lawnmowers in various states of repair, appliances, stripped AC units, 55-gallon drums, tires, and assorted other debris, creating a junk-like condition, giving the appearance of a scrapping business being operated from the residence, and high grass and weeds. During the investigation, I took photographs of the property on July 25th, August 25th, and September 5th. These photos fairly and accurately represent the conditions I observed. I'd like to offer the photographs into evidence as County Composite Exhibit 1. Oh, I forgot to put how many pictures. Sorry, I got it. This was the last one I did.
Sir, have you had a chance to look at those photographs? Do you have any objection to me entering those into evidence as requested?
No.
Okay, then those will be so marked and admitted. Please proceed.
The notice of violation was served in accordance with Florida Statute 162 by posting on August 25th, was prepared as a repeat violator due to a previous case for the same violation. The cease and desist order expired June 5th, 2017. The respondent was given 10 days to come into compliance, reference the existing violations. I've had no communication with the owners regarding this case. On September 5th, I conducted the final inspection, finding the grass cut, a lot of outside storage removed, but the property remains in violation. This is the end of my testimony.
Thank you. Does the county have anything further at this time?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Just want to finish looking through the photographs here. Yes, sir. What is your response, please?
Oh, nothing. I mean, what can I say? I messed up.
Okay.
But some of that stuff is like the mowers is one out there, that's my spare mower. I probably parked next to the thing. But otherwise, yeah, I just brought too much crap home and didn't realize it until you guys showed up and said get rid of it, and I did.
All right, sir. If there's nothing from the county, its recommendation, please.
Yes, Your Honor. County recommends a respondent be found in violation of the cited code sections, that the magistrate enter a 5-year cease and desist order for any future violations, that the respondent be granted 15 days from the date of your order to clear the zoning violations, or thereafter face a fine of $250 per day for each day a violation exists, and also that the magistrate permit abatement in the event of noncompliance and the cost of the abatement to be added to the fines and costs.
Thank you, sir. You probably didn't understand all of that, so let me kind of break down what they're recommending. That they're recommending that I find you guilty of the code violations, and that we enter a 5-year cease and desist order, meaning you got to prevent this from happening in the future. For
don't bring no more junk home.
Yeah, and they want 15 days for you to clear up the zoning violations. Is that going to be enough time for you?
Oh yeah, I know. I just need to know what I need to get rid of.
Okay, and then they're asking that for every day that you fail to comply with the order, that
fine, yeah.
Okay, so you understand that?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Then, based on the evidence presented, the admissions of the respondent's tenant, I guess, who's in control of the property, then I'll accept the county recommendation. So, in Charlotte County versus Gulf Coast Home Sites, Inc., trustee, KCOD 172159, pertaining to the parcel of 3381 Croton Terrace, Port Charlotte, Florida. I find that the undisputed evidence establishes the existence of the charges set forth in the notice of violation. I'll accept the county recommendation as my order in this matter. Thank you, sir.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay.
V as in Victor. All right, agenda item 10, case V. Victor, COD 17741, estate of Noreen Carney. You're present on that, please approach.
Your Honor, it's my understanding that the witness may not have been sworn at this point.
Oh, okay.
It's not.
You want to come forward, please?
Hi. Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? If so, answer I do. Thank you.
Your name, please, ma'am? Thank you.
You may have to pull the microphone down for her.
Is this the correct?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Nancy. Can you restate your name, please?
Judy Gross.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, if the county's ready to proceed, as first witness, please.
Honor, can we determine the relationship of the witness to the estate?
I'm sorry?
Can we determine the relationship of this witness to the estate of Noreen Carney, please?
I didn't know. Okay. What is your relationship to the estate, please?
I've been living there for 5 years.
Okay.
And
Are you
the people that owned it has passed away.
Are you a tenant or are you a beneficiary of the decedent?
The tenant that I'm trying to own the place is what I'm trying to do.
Okay, so you're trying to acquire the property from the estate?
Yes, I am, sir.
Okay, but you're not a beneficiary under any will or under the inheritance laws?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. First witness, please.
John Drown, Certified Code Compliance Officer, Charlotte County. The address of the violation is 15465 Orchid Drive, Punta Gorda, Florida. The zoning is manufactured home conventional. The owner of record is Noreen E. Carney Estate. On July 14, 2017, I conducted an inspection of the address and observed the following violation: an unpermitted canopy. During the investigation, I took photos on July 14th, 31st, and on August 8th and 30th, 2017. These photos clearly and accurately represent the conditions I observed. I would like to enter these photographs into evidence as Charlotte County Composite Exhibit Number 1.
Ma'am, have you had a chance to review those documents, those photographs?
I looked at them, yes.
And is there any objection from you, me entering those into evidence?
No, the tent is gone, completely gone.
All right, we'll get into that momentarily, but there'll be no objection. Foundation established. I'll admit those as Charlotte County Composite Exhibit 1. Please proceed.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. The notice of violation was served in accordance with Florida Statute 162. The respondent was given 10 days to come into compliance with the reference to the existing violation. Excuse me. I have not had contact with the owner in this case. On August 30th, 2017, I conducted a final inspection, finding the violations still substantially the same. This was the end of my testimony.
Thank you. Anything further from the county at this time?
Your Honor, just please be advised that we attempted to search the probate records to determine if there's been a case opened for this estate, and there is not a case currently pending before the 20th Judicial Circuit. So I was not able to contact an attorney for the estate or anybody either through my own efforts.
So, do we have any idea what the residence of the decedent, in other words, it's not an estate and another...
the county property records list an address, but it's out of state. I want to say Pennsylvania, but we've had no contact whatsoever from the title record owners.
There was something about
Youngstown, Ohio, sir.
Ohio.
All right. Yes, ma'am. You want to tell me?
I believe one of the deceased person that owned it is from Youngstown, Ohio, I believe is what.
Youngstown, Ohio?
That's my understanding, sir.
All right. Okay. And ma'am, did you install this thing?
My husband put it up to put our lawnmower and things that won't fit into a trailer.
And how did you come to occupy the property?
We needed a place to stay, and we left a big place. I can't take care of a big place anymore because of my health. So the people moved out that we knew, and some other people come up and said that they were the landlords, and they don't own anything in it. I paid the rent and I paid the power bill. It was in his name at the time.
And who are you paying the rent to?
To somebody named Ruth, Linda Buzzy, and Richard Buzzy. They came over and I'd get my check cashed and pay them $500 for the rent, and then maybe $100 or something. And they were not, we found out that they are not even associated with it. They've been playing landlord.
That's where I was going with that. I was a little concerned about that.
Yeah, they took like $14,000 from me.
All right. Do you have anything further, ma'am?
No, sir, I don't.
The county have a recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor. County recommends the respondent be found in violation of the cited code sections, that they be granted 15 days from the date of your order to clear the zoning violations by applying for and obtaining necessary permits to bring the property into compliance, or thereafter face a fine of $100 per day for each day a violation exists. Obviously, Your Honor, this recommendation applies to the estate and not to the witness.
Yeah, I understand that, and I'm kind of concerned that she has been victimized here, and so. All right, in Charlotte County versus the State of Noreen Carney, COD 17741, pertaining to the parcel at 15465 Orchid Drive, Punta Gorda, Florida. I find that the undisputed evidence establishes the existence of the charges set forth in the notice of violation, and I'll accept the county recommendation as my order. Now, ma'am, what counsel's pointed out, I'm going to point out to you as well. This fine and response is related to the owner and not you, even though you put this up, but the owner's responsible, whoever that may be.
I would like to.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Takes us to Article 10, Agenda Item W, COD 17-1203. Charis Edwards, if you're here in that case, please approach. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Good morning.
Your name, please?
Charis Edwards.
All right, ma'am. We're going to follow the same procedures that we have been going through at this point, okay? So we'll get to you momentarily. If the county's ready to proceed, its first witness.
Officer Drown.
John Drown, Charlotte County Certified Code Compliance Officer. The address of the violation is 27554 Sandra Law Drive, Punta Gorda, Florida. The zoning is residential 3.5. The owner of record is Charis Edwards. On August 23rd, I conducted an inspection of the address and observed the following violation: unpermitted tents and a boat on a trailer on an unimproved lot. During an investigation, I took photos August 23rd, 24th, and the 30th. These photos clearly and accurately represent the conditions I observed. I would like to enter these photographs into evidence as Charlotte County Composite Exhibit Number 1.
Stop.
Ma'am, do you have any objection to me admitting those photographs into evidence?
No.
Okay. Those will be marked as Charlotte County Composite Exhibit 1 and entered into evidence. Please proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. The notice of violation was served in accordance with Florida Statute 162. The respondent was given 10 days to come into compliance with the reference to the existing violation. I have not had personal contact with the owners regarding this case. On August 30th, 2017, I conducted the final inspection, finding the violations were substantially the same. This is the end of my testimony.
Yes, ma'am. Can you tell me your response, please?
Well, with all due respect to the court and yourself, I do not wish to violate any laws at all. I want to be a law-abiding citizen. I'm new to Florida. I bought this property. I moved from Fort Myers to Punta Gorda, and the first notice of this, as far as notification of this, was the orange sticker that I came home to on my guard dog on duty sign on my tree. And this is the first I've been contacted about of this on the end of the 24th, the day. Before this, I haven't been contacted at all. I've received no notice, nobody coming to my property, nothing up until the evening of the 24th, where I saw I have this. It was falling apart, so I put it on a towel, and also this was put on one of my down by the lake, down by the front, and which is on the other side of that brown tent. This was put on the tent hanging. I just kept it because it was falling apart. It was all wet, coming off of Hurricane Harvey. I came and I spoke Friday morning or Friday afternoon at noon to Sandra, and I said, could you please explain this to me? This is the first of my notice of this. What should I do? And she said, well, it's of 4 issues: 2 tents, the boat, and the DirecTV satellite dish. And I said, the boat is for sale. It has a for sale sign on it, and it's listed in Craigslist. So I'm waiting until the end of the rainy season because I don't have access to pulling it out. So until it dries. The sheriff department told me to park for safety-wise in case of evacuation down in our area with storms, to park across the street. So I've been doing that for my vehicle. But the boat is lodged in mud until I can get it dry and then have it towed out to either consignment or to someone buying it. They can tow it off my land, or I can put it in storage. Right now I'm not physically, I live alone with my service dog. I'm not physically able to move it at this moment. If you give me until the dry season, another month or so until things dry up, the water is 4 feet high. I can't tow it. AAA, I called them and they said that they would be unable to tow it until the end of the muddy rainy season, and we have a hurricane coming up. Right now the tents are down. The other green one, it was torn during the last storm and is destroyed. So I'm in compliance with both of those tents being gone. Everything is being tied down and put into storage or gone, and DirecTV is out of the ground. They don't wish to have their satellite dish back, so it's just on the ground sideways until I can remove it physically. With Hurricane Harvey and then this new not blizzard, I'm sorry, I'm from the north, hurricane coming out, I've taken steps in the last week to, I would say, break camp and put everything in storage, either that or just leave it for the hurricane as a vacant piece of lot. So right now it stands where there's the tents are gone, destroyed, or down. The boat's up for sale, and the DirecTV is out of the ground, and I'm waiting for the box to return the receiver to DirecTV.
And where are you residing now?
I'm in my Jeep. I'm indigent. I own the land. I would like to enter this as evidence in backing up the fact that my change of address through the post office. Alrighty, and at times...
Is that your only copy? Once we put it into evidence, I won't be able to give it back.
I can probably get a copy from the post office. That was just a... you may have it. I only brought it because it does defend my situation, my standing on... This is the orange sticker on the 24th of August was the first notice of any of this at all. Any code violations or any notice. Other than that, I've just been living every day. I moved out of the city and bought my land in Punta Gorda for tranquility and peace, to get out of the city. There was a lot going on. So I bought my property. It was in front of a lake, and I said, wow, I'll be able to live in peace. And that's why I'm there. But right now, I'm not there. It's going to be, and whatever's on there is probably going to be gone by this time next week after the hurricane.
Okay. Well, for the record then, is there any objection for me considering this?
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay, so this has been marked as Respondent Exhibit A. I'm going to put that into the evidence.
That's fine. That's fine.
Do you have anything further, ma'am?
No, I've taken care of the problems. The only thing left, there's a for sale sign and there's an ad on Craigslist. I'm waiting for responses. And if it pleases the court and yourself, if you could grant me to be able to, if it doesn't sell or somebody doesn't tow it out, to at least grant me some time so the land can dry up, so I can tow it off the property and put it in storage or consignment. Right now, I can't physically move it myself. I have nobody. And right now, it can't come out. And there's 4 feet. I park my vehicle across the street. The sheriff's office in Charlotte County know about it. He knows. And there's 4 feet of water at the swell right next to the road. It's
Your Honor,
flooded,
the county
and it's
doesn't
going to be
object to
even
the.
worse.
Your Honor, the county does not object to a reasonable extension to grant her time to comply.
Okay, thank you. The county's agreeing to give you additional time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Recommendation from the county on the extension for clearing the zoning.
I think she requested 45 days.
Is that
Well, the hurricane's going to hit, so that's going to add more water. As soon as the ground is solid, it will be pulled off the property.
all right, ma'am? Here's what is county's recommendation on this?
Yes, Your Honor. County recommends the respondent be found in violation of cited code sections. That the magistrate enter a 2-year cease and desist order for any future violations. That the owner be granted 45 days from the date of this order to clear the zoning violations, or thereafter face a fine of $50 per day for each day a violation exists. That the county be granted the power to abate the property in the event of noncompliance, and the cost of abatement be added to the fines and costs.
All right. The county's asked me to essentially sustain the charges, enter a 2-year cease and desist so that you can't commit any other violations on there. They are asking for me to give you 45 days to clear up the zoning, and then for each day that you don't after that, a $50 a day fine. I wish I had a magic ball here to kind of estimate what impact the storm may have. I don't know if we're going to what we're going to experience, but hopefully 45 days will be sufficient if I accept this this order. I mean, that's the most I've ever extended one of these orders, but since it's by stipulation, I'm comfortable doing that. I'm inclined to accept the county recommendation, but I would encourage you, again, we don't know what's going to happen, and I understand that access could be a problem, but please contact somebody, because I have a hunch you're not going to be the only person. So, in Charlotte County versus Charis Edwards, COD 17-1203, pertaining to parcels 27554 and 27558 Sandrella Drive, Punta Gorda, Florida, I find that the undisputed evidence establishes the existence of the charges set forth in the notice of violation. I'll accept the county recommendation as my order as modified, so you have that extra time, totaling 45 days, okay? I wish you good luck with the storm and everything, but if you do post-storm have issues, you need to contact somebody, okay?
Alrighty, but the 2 tents and the direct TV are done. They're done.
Yes, ma'am.
Alrighty, okay. So I'll try and see if I can get somebody to help me tow it.
Would obviously recommend to the respondent that we would recommend to the respondent that if she wishes to occupy that property in the future, that she contact the building and zoning department and figure out what she's permitted to do there.
Yeah, that would be certainly something you would need to do, okay?
Alrighty, I just have a sunscreen where I'm able to sit on a blow-up mattress, or not a mattress, but a couch, and in that I do a sunscreen like a canopy, like the beach, and I sit there and I watch the lake, and my dog and I just sit there. It's very peaceful. That's what the only thing that I do.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
I think that covers everyone who's present, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Well, that will take us back to
D.
D as in David. Yeah, why don't we do that? Why don't we take a 15-minute break or so, and then reconvene at 1:15. Thank you. Now, this is code enforcement hearings back in session. Before break, we left off agenda item D as in David, COD 17 1282, COD Jody Sowers and Terry Sowers. If you're present on that matter, please approach. I note that no one is has appeared on behalf of the respondents, so if the county is ready to proceed, its first witness.
Officer Bush.
My name is Charlie Bush. I'm Certified Code Compliance Officer for Charlotte County. The address of this violation is 13071 Gallagher Boulevard, and it's zoned RSF 3.5. Owner of record is Terry and Jody Sowers. On May 2nd, 2017, I conducted an inspection at the address and observed the following violations. Wood pallets, wood creating a junk-like condition. During the investigation, I took photographs of the property on May 2nd and July 11th. These photographs fairly and accurately represent the conditions I observed. I would like to offer these photographs into evidence as County Composite Exhibit 1.
Those will be marked and received into evidence as requested. Please proceed.
The notice of violation was served in accordance with Florida Statute 162. The respondent was given 10 days to come into compliance referencing the existing violations. I spoke to the owner who is trying to clean up the yard but works a lot and still working on it. On September 5th, 2017, I conducted the final inspection, finding the violations substantially are the same. This ends my testimony.
All right, anything further from the county? If not, its recommendation.
The county recommends, Your Honor, that the respondents be found in violation of the cited code sections, that the magistrate enter a 2-year cease and desist order against future violations, that the respondent be granted 15 days from the date of your order to clear the zoning violations or thereafter face a fine of $50 per day for each day a violation exists, that the county be permitted to abate the property in the event of noncompliance, and that cost of the abatement be added to the fines and costs.
Thank you. Charlotte County versus Jody and Terry Sowers, COD 17-1282, pertaining to the property at 13071 Gallagher Boulevard, Port Charlotte, Florida. I find that the undisputed evidence establishes the existence of the charges that are set forth in the notice of violation. I have accepted the county's recommendation as my order. Article 10, Agenda Item E, COD 17-1879, Lee Mosier 43 Land Trust. If you're present on that matter, please approach. I note that no one is present on behalf of the respondent, so if the county is ready to proceed, its first witness.
Officer Bush.
My name is Charlie Bush, Certified Code Compliance Officer for Charlotte County. The address of this violation is 4535 Nut Sledge Road, and its zoning is RSF 3.5. Owner of record is Lee Mosier, trustee. On June 28, 2017, I conducted an inspection at the address and observed the following violation. Numerous unregistered vehicles parked in a vacant house. During the investigation, I took photographs of the property on June 28th and July 24th. These photographs fairly and accurately represent the conditions I observed. I would like to offer the photographs into evidence as County Composite Exhibit 1.
Those will be so marked and admitted as requested. Please proceed.
Notice of violation was served in accordance to Florida Statute 162. The respondent was given 10 days to come into compliance, reference the existing violations. I had one call with the owner of the cars. He stated he is removing the cars from the yard as fast as he can. On September 5th, 2017, I conducted the final inspection, finding that violations still substantially remain the same. That ends my testimony.
Officer Bush, when you said that these are unregistered vehicles, how did you make that determination?
On the property, you can see some of them are in various states of repair. Parts are missing from them, and there was no plates on them.
Thank you.
And the owner did admit it.
Okay, thank you. Anything further from the county? If not, its recommendation, please.
County recommends the respondent be found in violation of the cited code sections, that the magistrate enter a 2-year cease and desist order against future violations, that the respondent be granted 15 days from the date of your order to clear the zoning violations or thereafter face a fine of $100 per day for each day a violation exists, and that the county be permitted to abate the property in the event of noncompliance and the cost of the abatement be added to the fines and costs.
Thank you. Charlotte County versus Lee Mosier 43 Land Trust, dated June 19, 2015. Charlotte case COD 17-1879, pertaining to the parcel at 4535 Nuts Edge Road, Port Charlotte, Florida. I find that the undisputed evidence establishes the existence of the charges set forth in the notice of violation. I accept the county recommendation for my order in this matter. Takes us Article 10, Agenda Item F, COD 17-1028. Susan Bird, if you're present on that matter, please approach the podium. I note that no one is present on behalf of the respondent. If the county is ready to proceed, its first witness.
Officer Leonard.
Rhonda Leonard, Certified Code Compliance Officer for Charlotte County. The address of the violation is 22472 Catherine Avenue. Zoning is RSF 3.5. The owner of record is Susan F. Beard. On April 13, 2017, I conducted an inspection of the address and observed the following violations. Outside storage of miscellaneous items, including trash, plastic containers, and assorted other debris. A window or door near the front entry boarded, creating a means of egress safety issue. Unprotected fascia, the residence being occupied without water service. During the investigation, I took photographs of the property on April 13th, June 14th, and August 30th. These photos fairly and accurately represent the conditions I observed. I'd like to offer the photographs into evidence as County Composite Exhibit 1.
Those have been marked and admitted into evidence as requested. Please proceed.
Follow-up inspection on June 14th found the outside storage removed. Other conditions were the same. Notice of violation was served in accordance with Florida Statute 162. The respondent was given 10 days to come into compliance, reference the existing violations. I've had no communication with the owner regarding this case. On August 30th, I conducted the final inspection, finding the violations still substantially the same. This is the end of my testimony.
Okay. When you say no communication, have they no telephone, no writing, or anything like that?
The address listed in property appraiser is a P.O. box. That mail was returned, so I sent an additional notice out to the address itself. It never came back. I don't know if she ever received it or not. I've not received any phone calls.
I just wanted to know, to determine whether or not the owner was just intentionally ignoring your efforts. So. All right, thank you very much. If the county has nothing further, its recommendation, please.
Your Honor, the county recommends the respondent be found in violation of the code sections listed in the notice of violation, that the owner be granted 30 days from the date of this of your order to bring the property into compliance with the International Property Maintenance Code and obtain necessary permits, or thereafter face a fine of $50 per day for each day a violation exists.
Thank you. Charlotte County versus Susan F. Bird, COD 17-1028, pertaining to the parcel at 22472 Catherine Avenue, Port Charlotte, Florida. I find that the undisputed evidence establishes the existence of the charges set forth in the notice of violation. I'll accept the county recommendation as my order.
Necessary permits, which wasn't there. I'm printing it out.
Okay. This is page 2? Mm-hmm. All right, just strike through this.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Article 10, Case G, COD 17-1837, Alfred and Monica Frazier. If you're present on that matter, please approach the podium. I note that no one is present on behalf of the respondent, so if the county is ready to proceed, it's first witness.
Officer Leonard.
My name is Rhonda Leonard. I'm a Certified Code Compliance Officer for Charlotte County. The address of the violation is 21226 Gladys Avenue. Zoning is RSF 3.5. The owners of record are Alfred and Monica Frazier. On June 23, 2017, Officer LaRue conducted an inspection of the address and observed the following violations of excessive growth of grass and weeds and an inoperative vehicle that appeared to have been involved in an accident with the rear left wheel turned sideways. Code compliance request was left at the door. During the investigation, Officer LaRue took photographs of the property on June 23rd, and I took photographs of the property on July 7th and August 29th. These photos fairly and accurately represent the conditions I observed. I'd like to offer the photographs into evidence as County Composite Exhibit 1.
Those will be so marked and admitted as requested. Please proceed.
Notice of violation was served in accordance with Florida Statute 162 and was prepared as a recurring offender due to several previous cases for the same violations. The respondent was given 10 days to come into compliance, reference the existing violations. I have had no communication with the owner regarding this case. On August 29th, I conducted the final inspection, finding the violations still substantially the same. This concludes my testimony.
Officer LaRue, would you come up here, please?
Chris LaRue, Charlotte County Code Compliance. Yes, sir.
Thank you. The evidence given in this matter, does that correctly reflect your charges and what you found in your report?
Yes, sir, on June 23rd.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
County has nothing further. Its recommendation, please.
Your Honor, the county recommends the respondents be found in violation of the cited code sections, that the magistrate enter into order a 2-year cease and desist order against future violations, that the respondents be granted 15 days from the date of your order to clear the zoning violations or thereafter face a fine of $100 per day for each day a violation exists, and the county be permitted to abate the property in the event of noncompliance, and the cost of the abatement to be added to the fines and costs.
Thank you. Charlotte County versus Alfred and Monica Fraser, COD 17-1837, pertaining to the parcel of property located at 21226 Gladys Avenue, Port Charlotte, Florida. I find that the undisputed evidence establishes the existence of the charges set forth in the notice of violation and accept the county recommendation as my order. Thank you. Article 10, Agenda Item I, COD 17-2063, Hogg Investments, LLC. If you're present on that matter, please approach the podium. I note that no one is present on behalf of the respondent. If the county is ready to proceed, please call its first witness.
Officer Leonard.
My name is Rhonda Leonard. I'm Certified Code Compliance Officer for Charlotte County. The address of the violation is 2248 Starlight Lane. Zoning district is RSF 3.5. The owner of record is Hogg Investments, LLC. On July 12, 2017, I conducted an inspection of the address and observed the following violations of outside storage and miscellaneous items, including but not limited to a large pile of tree debris, stack of tires, an exhaust system, 55-gallon drums, trailer full of debris, and assorted other items. During the investigation, I took photographs of the property on July 12th and August 31st. These photos fairly and accurately represent the conditions I observed. I'd like to offer the photographs into evidence as County Composite Exhibit Number 1.
Those will be so marked and admitted as requested. Please proceed.
Notice of violation was served in accordance with Florida Statute 162. It was prepared as a recurring offender due to several previous cases for the same violations. 2 were dismissed in 2016. The respondent was given 10 days to come into compliance, reference the existing violations. I spoke to Tina of Hogg Investments, LLC on August 28th concerning this case and advised the case would be going forward even if the property had been cleaned up due to the previous cases. On August 31st, I conducted the final inspection, finding some outside storage removed, but the violation remained on the property. This is the end of my testimony.
Thank you. If the county has nothing further, its recommendation, please.
Your Honor, the county recommends respondents be found in violation of the cited code sections, that the magistrate enter a 2-year cease and desist order against future violations, that the respondents be granted 15 days from the date of your order to clear the zoning violations or thereafter face a fine of $100 per day for each day a violation exists, that the county be permitted to abate the property in the event of non-compliance and the cost of the abatement to be added to the fines and costs.
Thank you. In Charlotte County versus Hogg Investments, LLC, COD 17-2063, pertaining to the parcel at 2248 Starlight Lane, Port Charlotte, Florida. I find that the undisputed evidence establishes the existence of the charges set forth in the notice of violation. I accept the county recommendation as my order. Agenda item 10, case, let's see, which is this case? We've already done. Golden Key Properties? Yes.
Yeah.
COD 13-2161, Golden Key Properties, LLC. If anyone is present on behalf of the respondent, please approach the podium. There being no one responding to on behalf of the respondent, so if the county is ready to proceed, please.
Officer Nicolosi.
Darcy Nicolosi, Certified Code Enforcement Officer for Charlotte County. The property in violation is located at 2881 Placida Road, is Zone CG. The owner of record is Golden Key Properties, LLC. On September 30th, 2013, I conducted an inspection finding 3 buildings under construction. In a review of the permitting database, found permits 2007-07-2388, 2007-07-2389, and 2007-07-2390 for the buildings had expired without final inspections being conducted. A letter was sent to the owner giving 30 days to comply. On June 28, 2017, a database check revealed the only one remaining violation is permit 2007-07-2388 for Building A, which expired on June 4, 2017. During the investigation, I took photographs of the property on October 20th, 2014, and December 29th, 2014, and September 1st, 2017. These photos fairly accurately represent the conditions I observed. I would like to offer the photographs and a copy of the expired permit into evidence as County Composite Exhibit 1.
Those will be so marked and admitted per request. Please proceed.
The notice of violation was served in accordance with Florida Statute 162. The respondent was given 10 days to come into compliance, reference to the existing violations. I have had contact with the management team for Golden Key Properties, and we've been discussing everything and trying to get the permit renewed. On September 1st, 2017, I conducted the final inspection, finding Building A completed, and a review of the database found the permit still expired. This concludes my testimony.
Thank you. If the county has nothing further, its recommendation, please.
County recommends respondent be found in violation of the code sections listed in the notice of violation, that respondent be granted 30 days to renew the expired permits and pass all inspections in accordance with the Florida Building Code, or thereafter face a fine of $100 per day for each day a violation exists.
Thank you. Charlotte County versus Golden Key Properties, LLC, COD 13-2161, pertaining to the parcel ID 4120-1721-7001. I find that the undisputed evidence establishes the existence of the charges set forth in the notice of violation and accept the county recommendation as my order. All right. That takes us to Article 10, Agenda Item O, COD 17480, Advanced Real Estate Group, LLC. If you're present on that matter, please approach the podium. There being no response and no one on behalf of the respondent, if the county is ready to proceed as first witness.
Officer Moore.
Officer Moore, Certified Code Enforcement Officer, Charlotte County. The address of the violation is 3511 Ogden Street. The zoning is RSF 3.5. The owner of record is Advanced Real Estate Group, LLC. On April 17, 2017, I conducted an inspection of the address and observed the following violations of excessive growth of grass and weeds, and outside storage but not limited to concrete block, trash cans, plastic, and other miscellaneous items creating junk-like conditions. There is also a damaged roof and unprotected wood exposed, unfinished exterior walls, and rotting door frames. During the investigation, I took photographs of the property on February 17th, March 13th, April 13th, May 30th, June 28th, July 25th, and August 28th of 2017. These photos fairly and accurately represent the conditions I observed. I'd like to offer the photographs into evidence as County Composite Exhibit 1.
Those will be so marked and admitted. Please proceed.
Let's see. The notice of violation was observed in accordance with Florida Statute 162. The respondent was given 10 days to come into compliance, reference the existing violations. I have had one phone conversation with the owners regarding this case. They were given a continuance for 1 month in order to come into compliance. On August 28, 2017, I conducted the final inspection, finding the violations still exist, except the junk has been cleared, bushes removed, and the grass is being maintained. This is the end of my testimony.
County has nothing further. Its recommendation, please.
Yes, Your Honor. The county recommends the respondent be found in violation of the cited code sections, that the magistrate enter a 2-year cease and desist against future violations order, 2-year cease and desist order against future violations, that the respondents be granted 30 days from the date of this order to clear the zoning violations and bring the property into compliance with the International Property Maintenance Code, or thereafter face a fine of $100 per day for each day a violation exists. Also, that the county be permitted to abate the property in the event of noncompliance, and the cost of the abatement be added to the fines and costs.
Thank you. Charlotte County versus Advanced Real Estate Group, LLC, COD 17480, pertaining to the parcel located at 3511 Ogden Street, Port Charlotte, Florida. I find that the undisputed evidence establishes the existence of the charges set forth in the notice of violation, and accept the county's recommendation as my order. Article 10, Agenda Item P, David and Umit Stella Matzik. If you're present on that matter, please approach the podium. I note that no one is present on behalf of the respondent. If the county is ready to proceed.
Officer Roadhorst.
Good morning, Gary Roadhorst, Charlotte County Code Compliance. The address of the violation is 123 Snowden Street. Zoning is RSF 3.5. The owners of record are David and Umut Stelmazik. On March 18th, 2016, I conducted an inspection of the address based on a case being turned over to me for expired permit. I found outside storage of wood tools and assorted other debris, and a partially completed garage. The permit was not yet expired at that point. It did expire on July 31st of 2017. During the investigation, I took photographs of the property on March 18th, June 20th of 2016, August 4th and August 30th of 2017. These photos fairly and accurately represent the conditions I observed. I'd like to offer the photographs and permit history into evidence as County Composite Exhibit Number 1.
Those will be so marked and admitted as requested. Please proceed.
The notice of violation was served in accordance with Florida Statute 162. The respondent was given 10 days to come into compliance, reference the existing violations. I've had very limited communication with the owners regarding the case early in the investigation. On August 30th, I conducted a final inspection, finding the violations still substantially the same. This is the end of my testimony.
Thank you. If the county has nothing further, its recommendation, please.
Your Honor, the county recommends the respondents be found in violation of the cited code sections. The magistrate enter a 2-year cease and desist order against future violations. That respondents be granted 30 days to clear the zoning violations and renew expired permits and pass all inspections in accordance with the Florida Building Code, or thereafter face a fine of $50 per day for each day a violation exists. That the county be permitted to abate the property in the event of noncompliance, and costs of the abatement be added to the fines and costs.
Thank you. Charlotte County versus David and Umit Stella Masick, COD 152469, pertaining to the parcel at 123 Snowden Street, Port Charlotte. I find that the undisputed evidence establishes the existence of the charges set forth in the notice of violation, and accept the county's recommendation as my order. Takes us to Article 10, Agenda Item Q, Capital Properties. Capital Properties. If you're present on that matter, please approach the podium. I know that no one is here on behalf of the respondent, so if the county is ready to proceed as first witness, please.
Officer Roadhorst.
Gary Roadhorst, Charlotte County Code Compliance. The address of the violation is 2449 Pinellas Drive. The zoning is RSF 3.5. The owner of record is Capital Properties Florida, LLC. On February 3rd, 2016, I conducted an inspection of the address and observed the following violations: soffits and wood not maintained in good repair and lacking protective treatment. During the investigation, I took photographs of the property on February 3rd, December 12th of 2016, and March 23rd, June 9th, and August 30th of 2017. These photos fairly and accurately represent the conditions I observed. I'd like to offer the photographs into evidence as County Composite Exhibit Number 1.
Those will be so marked and admitted. Please proceed.
The notice of violation was served in accordance with Florida Statute 162. The respondent was given 10 days to come into compliance, reference the existing violations. I've had sporadic communication with the owners regarding the case, both early in the investigation and this morning, saying they couldn't make it over for the hearing. But no progress on the property since then. On August 30th, I conducted the final inspection, finding the violations still substantially the same. This is the end of my testimony.
All right, the county has nothing further. Its recommendation, please.
Your Honor, the county recommends the respondent be found in violation of the cited code sections, that it be granted 30 days from the date of your order to bring the property into compliance with the International Property Maintenance Code, or thereafter face a fine of $100 per day for each day a violation exists.
Thank you. Charlotte County versus Capital Properties of Florida, LLC, COD 16351, pertaining to the parcel at 2449 Pinellas Drive, Port Charlotte, Florida. I find that the undisputed evidence establishes the existence of the charges set forth in the notice of violation and accept the county recommendation as my order. Agenda item R, COD 171467. Scott Bennett, if you're here on that matter, please approach the podium. I note that no one is present on behalf of the respondent, so if the county is ready to proceed as first witness.
Officer Roadhorst.
Gary Roadhorst, Charlotte County Code Compliance. The address of the violation is 192 Danforth Drive. The zoning is RSF 3.5. The owner of record is Scott B. Bennett. On May 18th of 2017, I conducted an inspection of the address and observed the following violations: torn pool cage screens and a pool that had not been maintained in a clean and sanitary manner. During the investigation, I took photographs of the property on May 18th, July 13th, and August 30th of 2017. These photos fairly and accurately represent the conditions I observed. I'd like to offer the photographs into evidence as County Composite Exhibit Number 1.
Those will be so marked and admitted as requested. Please proceed.
Notice of violation was served in accordance with Florida Statute 162. The respondent was given 10 days to come into compliance, reference the existing violations. I've had no communication with the owners regarding this case. On August 30th, I conducted the final inspection, finding the violations they were substantially the same, but they're going downhill. That is the end of my testimony.
Thank you. If the county has nothing further, its recommendation, please.
Your Honor, the county recommends the respondent be found in violation of the cited code sections, that they be granted 30 days from the date of your order to bring the property into compliance with the International Property Maintenance Code, or thereafter face a fine of $50 per day for each day a violation exists.
Thank you. Charlotte County versus Scott B. Bennett, COD 171467, pertaining to the parcel at 192 Danforth Drive, Port Charlotte, Florida. I find that the undisputed evidence establishes the existence of the charges set forth in the notice of violation and accept the county's recommendation as my order. Takes us to Article 10, Agenda Item S, Alfonso and Darlene Casalino. If you're present on that matter, please approach the podium. I note that no one is present on behalf of the respondent, so if the county is ready to proceed as first witness.
Officer Roadhorst.
Gary Roadhorst, Charlotte County Code Compliance. The address of the violation is 2334 Darcy Drive. The zoning is RSF 3.5. The owner of record is Alfonso and Darlene Casalino. On June 5th, 2017, I conducted an inspection of the address and observed the following violations: outside storage of plastic containers, cardboard boxes, a boat on the ground, tools, and assorted other debris. During the investigation, I took photographs of the property on June 5th, July 13th, August 24th, and September 5th of 2017. These photos fairly and accurately represent the conditions I observed. I'd like to offer the photographs into evidence as County Composite Exhibit Number 1.
Those will be so marked and admitted as requested. Please proceed.
The notice of violation was posted in accordance with Florida Statute 162. The respondent was given 10 days to come into compliance, reference the existing violations. I've had quite a deal of communication with the owners regarding this case. In fact, they said due to the hurricane prep that they're trying to do and they're elderly, they asked for an extension of the time. I told them I would pass that on. On September 5th, I conducted the final inspection, finding the violations have improved but still present. That is the end of my testimony.
Before we go further, I just wanted to note that the county had a pending motion to dismiss charge 3-79.1, if that's still the case.
Yeah, Your Honor, this section is 3-9-79.1, just to make it clear.
Sorry, did I?
That's okay. It wasn't. It's miswritten in the agenda.
All right, then that'll be granted. The Officer Roadhorse, they asked for an extension of time. Did they give you an idea of what they were at looking?
They didn't feel that they'd be able to get everything done in 15 days. I explained to them that is typically the order that you put out there. And so they asked if they could get 30 days in order to come into compliance.
Have they been cooperative with you?
They have been. They have been. It's actually the owners are not the issue. Their son that moved in with them is the one that brought all of his stuff to cloud up the property.
Thank you. County has nothing further. Its recommendation.
Your Honor, the county recommends the respondents be found in violation of Code Sections 3-9-33 subsection E and 3-9-76, that the magistrate enter a 2-year cease and desist order against future violations, that respondents be granted 15 days from the date of your order to clear the zoning violations or thereafter face a fine of $50 per day for each day a violation exists. Further, that the county be granted the authority to abate the property in the event of noncompliance, and the cost of abatement be added to the fines and costs.
In Charlotte County versus Alfonso and Darlene Castellino, COD 17-1569, pertaining to parcel at 2334 Dorsey Drive, Port Charlotte, Florida. I'm going to accept the county's recommendation because the undisputed evidence establishes the existence of the charges set forth in the notice of violation, but I'm going to grant their request. I'll give them 30 days, and and the reason for that is that they've been making a good effort, and it's not their direct fault, but that doesn't underscore their responsibility.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Agenda item T, COD 16-3068, Paul Neal Sr. If you're present on that matter, please approach the podium. I'll note that no one is present on behalf of the respondent, so Officer Brown, looks like you're teed up.
Officer Brown. Thank you. John Brown, Certified Code Compliance Office. The address of violation is 21031 Baffin Avenue, Port Charlotte, Florida. The zoning is residential 3.5. The owner of record is Paul F. Neal Sr. On May 18, 2017, I conducted a database search of the address and found the permit 2013-091-2681 for electrical work was in expired status as of August 17, 2017. During the investigation, I took a photo on August 30th, 2017. This photo clearly and accurately represents the conditions I observed. I would like to enter this photograph and permit history into evidence as Charlotte County Composite Exhibit Number 1.
Those will be so marked and admitted. Please proceed.
The notice of violation was served in accordance with Florida Statute 162. The respondent was given 10 days to come into compliance with reference to the existing violation. I have not had contact with the owners regarding this case. On August 30th, 2017, I conducted the final inspection, finding the violation still substantially the same. I did check the status of the permit again this morning. It is still in expired status. This is the end of my testimony.
Thank you. County has nothing further. Its recommendation, please.
County recommends the respondent be found in violation of the code sections listed in the notice of violation, that they be granted 30 days to renew the expired permits and pass all inspections in accordance with the Florida Building Code, or thereafter face a fine of $50 per day for each day a violation exists.
Thank you. In Charlotte County versus Paul F. Neal, Sr., COD 163068, pertaining to the parcel at 21031 Baffin Avenue, Port Charlotte, Florida. I find that the undisputed evidence establishes the existence of the charges set forth in the notice of violation and accept the county's recommendation as my order. All right, that takes us to agenda item U, COD 17673, Nancy Chavez. I note that no one is present on behalf of the respondent, so Officer Drown, please proceed.
Officer Drown.
John Drown, Charlotte County Code Compliance. The address of the violation is 7223 Jawant Boulevard, Punta Gorda, Florida. The zoning is agricultural. The owner of record is Nancy Chavez. On August 30th, 2017, I conducted an inspection of the address and observed the following violations. During the investigation, or the following violations, unpermitted structure, storage container, and a RV. During the investigation, I took photos on August 30th, 2017. These photos clearly and accurately represent the conditions I observed. I would like to enter these photographs into evidence as Charlotte County Composite Exhibit Number 1.
All right, those will be so marked and admitted. Please proceed.
The notice of violation was served with Florida Statute 162. The respondent was given 10 days to come in compliance with reference of the existing violation. I have had contact with the owners regarding this case. They were in the process of working with me on removing the items, but they have not complied to date. They were in the process of emptying out the storage container.
And did they give you any reason why they were so far behind?
They said because it's very wet out there and they were unable to actually get a wrecker in there to remove the items.
Thank you. If the county has nothing further, its recommendation, please.
Your Honor, the county recommends the respondent be found in violation of cited code sections, that they be granted 30 days from the date of your order to remove all miscellaneous items from the property, that they obtain all required permits and pass all inspections for the land that was cleared, or thereafter face a fine of $50 per day for each day a violation exists.
Thank you. Charlotte County versus Nancy Chavez, COD 17673, pertaining to the parcel located at 7223 Jawant Boulevard, Punta Gorda, Florida. Find that the undisputed evidence establishes the existence of the charges set forth in the notice of violation and accept the county's recommendation as my order. All right, that takes us to agenda item Article 10, Case X 17-1406, Francine Rhodes. If you're present, please approach. I note that no one is present on behalf of the respondent, so if the county is ready to proceed, Officer Drone, I see, is teed up, so please.
Officer Drown.
Thank you. John Brown, Certified Code Compliance Officer. The address of violation is 6128 Padula Street, Punta Gorda, Florida. The zoning is manufactured home conventional. The owner of record is Francine R. Rhodes. On July 11, 2017, I conducted an inspection of the address and observed the following violations: high grass and weeds, television, household appliances, creating junk-like conditions and a prohibited use. During the investigation, I took photos on July 11th, August 24th, August 30th, 2017. These photos clearly and accurately represent the conditions I observed. I would like to enter these photographs in evidence as Charlotte County Composite Exhibit Number 1.
Those will be so marked and admitted as requested. Please proceed.
The notice of violation was served in accordance with Florida Statute 162. The respondent was given 10 days to come into compliance with the existing violation. I have not had contact with the owners regarding this case. On August 30th, 2017, I conducted a final inspection, finding the violation still substantially the same. This is the end of my testimony.
Thank you. The county has nothing further. Its recommendation, please.
Your Honor, the county recommends the respondent be found in violation of the cited code sections, that the magistrate enter a 2-year cease and desist order against future violations, that the respondent be granted 15 days from the date of your order to clear the zoning violations, or thereafter face a fine of $50 per day for each day a violation exists, and the county be permitted to abate the property in the event of noncompliance, and the cost of the abatement be added to the fines and costs.
Thank you. Charlotte County versus Francine Renette Rhodes, COD 171406, pertaining to the property at 6128 Padula Street, Punta Gorda, Florida. I find that the charges set forth in the notice of violation have been established, and accept the county recommendation as my order. All right, takes us to case agenda AA, Michael Beckwith, COD 163685. If you're present on that matter, please approach the podium. I note that no one is present on behalf of the respondent, so if the county is ready to proceed, its first witness, please.
Officer Davis, whenever you're ready.
Paul Davis, Certified Code Compliance Officer, Charlotte County. The address of the violation is 22458 Olean Boulevard, Port Charlotte, Florida. Zoning is RSF 3.5, and the owner of record is Michael Beckwith. On June 27, 2017, I conducted an inspection of the address, and we observed the following violation. An expired permit for replacing 2 garage doors, permit number 20160407639, expired June 26, 2017. During the investigation, I took photographs of the property on June 27th and August 15th, 2017. These photos fairly and accurately represent the conditions I observed. I'd like to offer the photographs into evidence as County Composite Exhibit Number 1.
Those will be so marked and admitted.
Okay. The notice of violation was served in accordance with Florida Statute 162, and the respondent was given 10 days to come into compliance, reference the existing conditions. I've had no communication with the owners regarding this case. On August 25th, 2017, I conducted the final inspection, finding the violations still are the same. I also checked actually yesterday, and nothing has changed from that either.
Officer Davis, I just want to let you know that the exhibit itself only had 1 photograph attached to it. You had 2 up there.
Your Honor, we request we would move for the opportunity to supplement the record.
Okay, that's fine. That motion will be granted. And so if you don't have it with you, just go ahead and
yeah,
but I think there's enough of record.
The reason that one's not there, that was the most current one.
Just wanted to call it to your attention. All right, if the county has nothing further, its recommendation, please.
Your Honor, the county recommends the respondent be found in violation of the cited code sections, that they be granted 30 days to renew the expired permits and pass all inspections in accordance with the Florida Building Code, or thereafter face a fine of $50 per day for each day a violation exists.
Thank you. Charlotte County versus Michael Beckwith, COD 163685, pertaining to 22458 Olean Boulevard, Port Charlotte, Florida. The undisputed evidence establishes the existence of the charges set forth in the notice of violation, and the county recommendation is accepted as my order. All right. Then it takes us to case double B, COD 171337. Christopher and Jessica Tompkinson. If you're present on that matter, please approach the podium. I note that no one is present on behalf of the respondent, so if the county is ready to proceed as first witness.
Officer Davis.
Paul Davis, Certified Code Compliance Officer, Charlotte County. The address of the violation is 21805 Edgewater Drive, Port Charlotte. Zoning is RSF 3.5. The owner record is Christopher and Jessica Tompkinson. On May 8, 2017, I conducted an inspection of the address and observed the following violation of a total remodel of the house without a permit. During the investigation, took photographs of the property on May 8th, May 25th, June 26th, and August 29th. These photos fairly and accurately represent the conditions I observed. I would like to offer the photographs into evidence as County Composite Exhibit Number 1.
Those will be marked and admitted as requested. Please proceed.
The notice of violation was served in accordance with Florida Statute 162. The respondent was given 10 days at the beginning to come into compliance, reference the existing conditions. I've had communication several times by telephone, and there was extensions. I talked to actually companies that was going to come in and try to help them pull the permits, but none of that ever happened. So on August 29th, 2017, I conducted the final inspection, finding the violations still substantially were the same.
Thank you. Does county have anything further? If not, its recommendation.
County recommends the respondents be found in violation of the code sections listed in the notice of violation, that they be that the respondents be granted 30 days from the date of your order to apply for and obtain all necessary permits to bring the property into compliance, and then pass all inspections in accordance with the Florida Building Code, or thereafter face a fine of $50 per day for each day a violation exists.
Thank you. Charlotte County versus Christopher and Jessica Tompkinson, case COD 171337, pertaining to 21805 Edgewater Drive, Port Charlotte, Florida. I find that the undisputed evidence establishes the existence of the charges set forth in the notice of violation and accept the county recommendation as my order. Takes us to Article 10, Agenda Items double C, COD 171868, Jessica Camus. If you're present on that matter, please approach the podium. I note that no one is present on behalf of the respondent. So, if the county is ready to proceed, its first witness.
Officer Davis.
Paul Davis, Charlotte County Code Compliance Officer. The address of the violation, 189 Ferris Drive, Port Charlotte, Florida. The zoning is RSF 3.5. The owner record is Jessica N. Camus. On June 27, 2017, I conducted an inspection of the address and observed the following violations. Outside storage of plastic storage bins, a small refrigerator, and other debris creating junk-like conditions. During the first inspection, some of the items were covered with a blue tarp. The last inspection found most of the debris closer to the garage door. During the investigation, I took photographs of the property on June 27th, July 12th, and August 16th, 2017. These photos fairly and accurately represent the conditions I observed. I would like to offer the photographs into evidence as County Composite Exhibit Number 1.
Those will be so marked and admitted. Please proceed.
The notice of violation was served in accordance with the Florida Statute 162. The respondent was given 10 days to come into compliance, reference the existing conditions. I have a no communication with the owner regarding this case. On August 16, 2017, I conducted the final inspection, finding the violations still substantially the same. That's the end of my testimony.
Thank you. County doesn't have anything further. Its recommendation, please.
Your Honor, the county recommends the respondent be found in violation of the cited code sections, that the magistrate enter a 2-year cease and desist order against future violations, that the respondent be granted 15 days from the date of your order to clear zoning violations or thereafter face a fine of $50 per day for each day a violation exists, and that the county be permitted to abate the property in the event of noncompliance and cost of abatement be added to the fines and costs.
Thank you. Charlotte County versus Jessica Camus, case COD 171868, pertaining to the property at 189 Ferris Drive, Port Charlotte, Florida. I find that the undisputed evidence establishes those charges set forth in the notice of violation and accept the county's recommendation as my order. Takes us to Article 10, Case DD, COD 17-1880, Nation Star Mortgage, LLC. If you're present on that matter, please approach. I know that no one is present on behalf of the respondent. So if the county will call its first witness.
Officer Davis.
Paul Davis, Charlotte County Code Compliance Officer. Address of violation is 3648 Easy Street, Port Charlotte. The zoning is RSF 3.5. The owner record is Nation Star Mortgage, LLC. On June 28, 2017, I conducted an inspection of the address and observed the following violation: an expired roof reshingle permit that expired on February 12, 2012. During the investigation, I took photographs of the property on June 28th and August 28th. These photographs fairly and accurately represent the condition I observed. I'd like to offer photographs and also history of the permit into evidence as County Composite Exhibit Number 1.
That'll be so marked and admitted. Please proceed.
The notice of violation was served in accordance with Florida Statute 162. The respondent was given 10 days to come into compliance referencing existing violations. I've had no communications with the owner regarding the case. On August 28th, I conducted a final inspection and found the violation was still the same. I actually checked that yesterday also, and there has been no permits or anything pulled or checked on.
Thank you. County has nothing further. Its recommendation, please.
Your Honor, the county recommends respondents be found in violation of the code sections listed in the notice of violation, that respondents be granted 30 days to renew the expired permits and pass all inspections in accordance with the Florida Building Code, or thereafter face a fine of $100 per day for each day a violation exists.
Thank you. In Charlotte County versus Nation Star Mortgage, LLC, COD 17-1880, pertaining to the parcel at 3648 Easy Street, Port Charlotte, Florida. I find that the undisputed evidence establishes the existence of the charges set forth in the note and accept the county's recommendation as my order. Just say I didn't look at anything else. All right, that concludes the new business agenda. Does we get confirmation from the county on that?
Yes, Your Honor. What we've left is public comment.
Okay, Article 9, any input from anybody on any subject? There being none, we'll stand in adjournment.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. That concludes proceedings.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County COPWATCH, and I'd like to thank you for all your years of support through the years. As a result, this channel has grown and allowed me an equity partnership in carmarshal.com. Please take the time to check them out. They help you buy and sell your next car, even have a negotiating tool to save you from the hassle of haggling with multiple dealers. The link is in the description below. Please click and help support and give if you can too through PayPal or Patreon. Thanks again.